We returned to Paris with a heavy heart. The hustle and bustle of the exposition grounds did little to raise my spirits. We went to the shady dealer, but he had nothing much to give to us. Then we went onward. And looked which quests lay open at the harbor, which expeditions had to be taken, which secrets had to be solved. And indeed another archipelago was open for the fabled rainbow orchid. But we were intimidated. We would rather find a missionary, investigate and find out why he stopped communicating. We went for the Royal Avalon Society to support us. And the night before we were to depart, the streets of Paris were awash with the flickering light of street lamps as we made our way into the bar. Evening, I overheard a man promoting a brand new exhibition prepared for the Exposition Universelle. Curious, I approached it too to find out more. Excited, he told me of the upcoming ethnological expedition, where one could see authentic natives going about their daily business in replica villages. I was quite excited, but I couldn't help to be discomfited by the notion. I certainly wouldn't want anyone gawking at me like an animal in a zoo. Let's go to the seas, friends, instead. That's what I said. And we drank to it. Jollily. As we neared the site of the expedition, a small supply ship pulled alongside. The Royal Avalon Society would provide some useful equipment for our expedition. Hopefully. We packed some torches and cunning tonics. Then decided we had to have something more useful with us. And what else could that be but tea and granola bars? Maybe one or two first aid kits also weren't a mistake. Yes, we had to acquire them. We dealt with everything and began our expedition. We're sailing to a rocky island where apparently a missionary had been lost. It was called the Tarborg Islet, or so we christened it. As I left the ship, I immediately encountered a group of armed islanders. It seemed that they had seen my ship approach and were awaiting my arrival. They warned me that the missionary I sought had angered the local gods and had been taken to a local temple to be sacrificed on the spring equinox. It was clear that the missionary had soured them on outsiders. Scowling, they warned me to behave myself on their lands. It seemed I had limited time to find the missionary. I pondered what to ask the islanders before moving on. And we would try to give them a gift to make them softer. They liked some torches and a cunning tonic. Anticipating further contact with these people, I offered a gift. They accepted it gladly, and surprise and warmth were showing on their faces. They gave me the blessing of their mighty god before sending me on their way. We didn't really know what to do next, as they hadn't told us much about their island. We certainly wanted to rescue the missionary. So we had to go to, well, someplace. And went totally into the middle of it. We were covered in tar. Drank some tea to get into a better mood. There's something strange there. We didn't know how we would get to it. How could we ever hope to reach that mysterious place that we'd heard of? Ah, the tar. Stopped us in our tracks. We went over plateaus and everything and found ferry stations that we had already encountered the previous time. We debated to go back, maybe, find some other things, go to other places, and we did it. We traveled along, covered in tar most of the time. Damn that tar. The tea helped us to get better. We also got some dragonflies that would help us, and approached the village of the islanders. Came to the village just as a fishing expedition was returning from their trip. Jovially, the fishers gave me a few fillets as they welcomed me to the village. They observed me with caution and offered their hospitality. We wanted to trade with them. We would give them their fish back. And hopefully something more. To be able to meet with their ruler. I entered the chieftain's hut, greeting her respectfully. She nodded and was generous enough to give her time for a single request. We asked how we could help them. The chieftain told me of a nearby friend of the village. She wanted to send this person a gift and asked if I would deliver it. Yes. I was given a fine piece of jewelry, along with detailed directions to where I was meant to deliver the gift. It was far away. Promised the salamander that I'd prove worthy of their trust and not lose the gift that I had been entrusted with. I thanked the chieftain and made my exit. We saw there was a tanning kit available. We were doubtful as about trading for it. So we just wanted to rest. Rest and rest. A curious salamander asked me a question. She wanted to know whether it is true that men from my culture have multiple wives. Which culture were we? Usually men had one wife, but there are exceptions. Told her that our religion frowned on polygamy. She nodded, seeming to find my answer rather exciting. We were no longer covered in tar, and recovered quite well. I recovered the village for nearly a week. I seemed welcome enough in the village, and we would request an escort to the ferry station. They wanted something for that. We gave them 2 other torches and they brought us there. Thankfully, we were not covered in tar then. That was the only advantage this brought us. Yes, my friends, we would like to go northeast to the Marshlands Island. He began gleefully to negotiate for passage. What did we have to give him? It was really hard. It was really hard. We only had some granola bars left to deal with it. The ferrymen brought us over. Near a giant snake. Already many days had passed and I had still not found the missionary. I would have to hurry if I wanted to save him in time. He would be somewhere on this island. First though, we had to attack a giant snake. Otherwise, we would probably be eaten. Fearless, we tried to attack her. The beast was not stunned by our attack. Our cunning blows were not enough to fell the beast. It attacked, stunning us wildly. And giving Homie some problems. We were distracted to protect us. And attack it in return. Barely surviving, the beast continued its attacks on Homie. We were unhappy. We struck back massively, taking the beast down. Got some meat and a snake skin. We grilled the meat instantly and drank some tea and continued to look for the island. We felt he must be somewhere east, but we were actually not that sure. We looked for him in a dilapidated shack. I encountered a worn, poorly constructed hut in the wilderness. A desperate-looking man peered out at me, his pale, emaciated form sparking pity. He was constantly glancing around with a scared look in his eyes, as though he thought we might have been followed. We gave him the gift from the salamanders, explaining that it was a symbol of gratitude from the nearby village. The man gave a small smile and accepted the item. As a show of his appreciation for the service I had rendered, he handed me a small gift of my own. We would make a donation to him. A large donation, because we couldn't really deal with the Spike Club. We just gave it back to him. Because everything else we still needed. Shaken by my generosity, the man hugged me warmly, tears in his eyes. Despite the sacrifice, I felt glad to have helped here. We needed to keep moving, though. Forward. Some islanders were waiting in the bogs. Another month had gone by since I had landed on this island. I began to worry that the time was passing quicker than expected. It was a grim day that morning. Rain fell from the sky, making it easy to stay out of sight as we observed a small group of natives get ambushed by a pack of hyenas. The battle was joined. It was clear that the islanders were not getting the best of it. If someone didn't intervene, we were unlikely to survive. They were unlikely to survive, and we would help them, of course. Could not stand idly by and watch fellow humans be slaughtered by beasts. Well, fellow salamanders. Fellow living beings, intelligent living beings. Steeling myself for the encounter, I gave a cry and joined the battle. It was time to show them what we were made of. We hit the beasts with unrelenting force. Shot them down. Brought them down. The surviving islanders thanked me profusely. I'd saved their lives, and despite our previous differences, they would never forget this boon. They'd tell us, though, where the missionary would be. We approached further. Where would he be? We felt that he could be maybe in a shack in the mountains, or rather in the jungles. One of these times. But then we were attacked by hyenas. Or rather one of them. Homie was injured. We had to take down the beast as quickly as we could. And we did it, and looted the bodies of the fallen. Rewarded with teeth. Where could we find the missionary? We had no idea. We would travel onward and look at the shrine for him. As I approached the large stone monument, I heard a disturbing sound from inside, sonorous chanting overlaid with a pleading voice. I would have to hurry. We entered the shrine. As I moved to enter the shrine, I was accosted by a group of armed islanders, led by their priest. They lowered their spears, shouting at me to stop immediately. Inside the temple behind them, I could see the missionary tied up on an altar. It seemed that they were already preparing the sacrifice. We would persuade them to let him go. Come on, we can do it. It didn't work. Despite my best efforts, the islanders would not listen to reason. I was in the middle of a well-reasoned argument about the superiority of civilized culture when they dishonorably attacked us. Ow! With cunning blows. We took them down one by one. First the soldier, then we hope to take down the priest. Priest cursed and cursed, bringing Homie to his knees. To protect ourselves. The priest attacked, but to no big avail. We had to fight further. Cursed and weak as we were. Strike after strike. We had to land on him. He was relentless in his attacks. But we would take him down. It was a bloody affair. I came out victorious, answering the calls of the missionary in the next room. I ran to his aid. I quickly untied him, who was both grateful and somewhat embarrassed by my assistance. He mumbled out a quiet thank you. I escorted him back to my ship and the safety of Paris. I could only hope he would be more careful in the future when visiting dangerous lands such as these. Hooray! That was close, Father. That was close. Royal Avalon Society was happy. We made it back in one piece. The father did his best to help us out for fame and glory. What did we learn? We learned to pack more things at the start. Being a medic. In Paris I heard dozens of rumors about Malin, most clearly baseless, yet a few seemed solid enough to follow up. It was much to go on, but it was all I had. I would follow the rumors and see if I could find where she had disappeared to. Look at the shady dealer. Nothing so interesting. The Boussole Cassé. As I entered the barn, exquisitely dressed man introduced himself. He was Francis Chauncey Travers, a financier of expeditions. For the price of just a few measly tickets, I could acquire additional funding for my next expedition. Intriguing. We would decline, though, for now. And look one more time into the Royal Avalon Society. Looking at the competition status. It seemed like the Royal Avalon Society was kind of left behind. We looked at the club shop and saw the improved tower that tempted us. Sure, I wouldn't regret my purchase. We'd look around to see if something was to be done. We gave Amar an improved Tolwa instead of the hunting stick. The walking stick. She had been incredibly useful, so we wanted to give her some more talent. Homie got the excellent walking stick, and we didn't really want to do something special about the hunting rifle. That really hadn't helped us much. So we just decided to keep it with us for trading. And try to find Malin another day. Thank you for being here with the diary. Have a great time until next time, and happy gaming. See each other next time. This is Immanuel Can, signing out.